Well, hello, everybody. Hello. It's been a long time. I'm Zondra Wilson, the Health and Wellness Director for Calvary Baptist Church of Hawthorne. I'm going to give you a couple seconds to come on in the room. Again, it's been a long time. I'm so excited to be back because September is Childhood Obesity Month, and I have a special guest and her mom, and we're going to just tackle childhood obesity. We're going to tackle bullying. We're going to tackle mental health, all of the things that you guys have been asking for, and things that are very important. So come on in. I'm going to give you a couple seconds to come in. If you have any questions, definitely I want you to type them in the chat in the box, and then we'll tackle any questions that you may have. And again, we're gonna get started here. We're so excited to be back. I'm so excited to be here with my guest, Keiwanna and her beautiful daughter, Leielle Lewis, are here, and we're gonna tackle childhood obesity, bullying, mental health, and how all of this stuff kind of is wrapped in together. And kids are fighting back. So Leielle is going to tell us about her particular story, and then we're going to play a couple of videos to kind of get us, so we can kind of understand what's going on in the school system. It's totally different from when I was in school. So this beautiful young lady is going to kind of educate us on what's going on and how we can beat it. So what I'm going to do first is start off with a video talking about uh, preventing childhood obesity, because that's how we're going to start, and then we're going to go into bullying and mental health. So let me just start with this video. So again, put any of your questions that you may have, put them in the comments section. Okay, guys. All right, here we go.
It's definitely on the rise.
Pediatrician Dr. Denise Drago says childhood obesity is a growing problem that shouldn't be ignored.
When parents are obese, there's a lot more of likelihood that the kids will be obese too. So the culture is raising more obese adults, which are raising more obese children.
But the problem typically doesn't start with the child. To determine if a child is overweight, doctors use a BMI chart to measure the child's height and weight.
For adults, they use number values. For us, we use percentile. So if you're above the 85th percentile of your height compared to your weight for your age, then you're considered at risk for obesity. And above the 95th percentile is when you become classified as obese.
Obesity can start as young as birth. Health experts say once your child is able to eat solid foods, make sure they have a diet that's high in fruits, vegetables, and proteins. Also, prolong the introductions of juice and sweets.
We also talk about just portion sizes and how much should a child be eating. So when you look at what an adult should be eating, the amount that you or I would have for dinner isn't the same amount that they should.
If a child doesn't eat much during a meal, don't overcompensate later by giving high-calorie snacks.
Kids are on iPads, they're on iPhones, they're doing a lot more things that keep them stationary. So that's the first concern.
She says limiting the amount of time spent with technology and encouraging physical activity and healthy eating is important for both child and parent. For Lee Memorial Health System, I'm Lindsay Fry.
Okay, so I wanted to kind of open up with a video to kind of get us to see what's going on with childhood obesity and how it could affect us. But I want to open up with our guest. So beautiful Miss Leielle Lewis, tell us a little bit about yourself. How old are you? What school you go to? And just, so we just introduce yourself. That's okay. Take your time.
All right. I'm Leielle Lewis. I'm 13 years old.
Okay.
I go to City of Angels Virtual Academy
Okay.
for 7th grade.
Okay. So tell me about your experience at that particular school. Is it a pretty positive experience?
It's on and off for the experience.
Okay.
Some of the counselors there at the virtual academy school, they do have things that can help you if you're struggling with schoolwork or just mental health in general.
Okay.
So they So they give you different links, and then there's also different programs for for things that can help you with your schoolwork.
Okay. So they have a lot of things in place to help you out at the
Yeah.
school. Okay. So as you know, this is Childhood Obesity Month, mental health and bullying. And I know when we were talking before, we were talking about like the pressure sometimes to stay thin, being pressure, or the pressure as to what kind of foods we should be eating. So can you talk to us about your experience with the type of foods that you're eating, if bullying is wrapped around with the type of foods that you're eating, if gaining weight has been an issue, in your particular peer group? You could talk to us about that if you would like.
Um, there is a lot of pressure in
Okay.
school because if it's the first day of school and you're in person,
Mm-hmm.
they automatically b- name you
Okay.
in a certain group, like the popular girls, the jocks, the nerds, and it and it's very hard if you're in any of the groups because, well, let's just say the nerds, nothing
Okay.
mean, but just let's say that social group that people put them in, they're going to get bullied every day. They could get beat up, their their lunch money stole.
Okay.
And for the popular kids, it's 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 weight, and you have to look a certain way and dress a certain way
Oh,
for you to be popular. And even if you don't want to be, you have to be because you're scared that you're going to get bullied and you don't have an option. So it brings on a lot of pressure.
okay. So have you been concerned while you were in school with staying a certain weight?
Um, a little bit.
Okay.
Um, I don't eat much,
Okay.
so even so, I have wanted to gain weight before,
Hmm.
which is harder for me
Okay.
because I don't eat much.
Okay.
So it,
So you wanted to gain weight. So your thing was to actually gaining weight and not
yeah,
necessarily losing weight. Okay. So were you put into a category on the first day of school that people just automatically put Leielle into a particular category? And if so, what category was that?
um, yeah, this was in my old elementary school. I
Okay.
got put into the small slash popular slash weird group of
Okay.
people, and I'm naturally weird in general. But
You're not weird.
so
Yeah.
and
It's a thing
for
to
the
claim now for the kids,
Yeah.
being different, being weird,
for being in that group, it brought on different types of pressure
Okay. What are
because
those pressures? What are those pressures, Leielle?
the pressures are when that group though the pressures are being able to have good grades. You have to have good grades. You can't not know something. You
Wow.
have you have to be you have to be on top. You you have to be funny. You have
Right.
to be pretty.
Right.
And
So
then
what happens if you're knocked off of that? What if you don't accomplish those things that these people are saying you're supposed to be? What happens to you then?
then you 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 find out if they're real friends or fake friends.
Hmm.
Fake friends will just leave you and then bully you for the rest of the year and so on,
Oh, wow.
unless you change schools. But if they're real friends, then they'll stick by you. They don't care how you look. anything, they'll just still be your friend either way.
Right. Okay. So what are some of the things when they're bullying you? What does that consist of? What do they do?
Well, I was really small,
Mhm.
so they would bully me on my height, and I got bullied on my backpack a lot. And I had to work with a partner before in math, and I have trouble with math.
Mhm.
So I guess somebody decided to spread a rumor that I don't know math completely, which is true. I don't, but um, it was kind of hard because everyone was saying, "Oh, look, it's dumb Leielle. She doesn't know math." So it wasn't the best, but I had friends who stood up for me during
Yes.
that,
Right.
who stopped people from bullying me because of my height, because
Right.
I didn't know something, and my backpack.
Right.
So they ended up actually stop bullying people in general,
Right.
and it was nice to, because afterwards we all became friends. So
Okay.
it ended in a happy ending.
Okay. Okay. So with it being childhood obesity, do you have any of your friends that actually struggled with their weight that they were able to talk to you about that?
Yes, I'm not gonna say her name,
Uh-huh.
but um, one of my friends, she always wanted to lose weight,
Mm-hmm.
but it was hard for her because she didn't like exercising.
Mm-hmm.
But she didn't. But to me, she really didn't need to lose weight
Okay.
because she looked fine. She was my friend,
Right.
and not just saying that because I'm being nice or she's my friend, but I'm saying that because she looked how she should.
Mm-hmm.
And she actually ended up understanding that later on.
Okay.
So, and she was more uh, self confident about herself
Mm-hmm. Okay.
and started wearing stuff that she never thought she would wear before,
Okay.
and started to see, oh, I look good in this.
Right.
Even with the way I look and with my weight, I look good.
Right. And what, see, that's good. So what would you tell a person who is struggling with their weight and that's being bullied? What would your advice be to that person?
Um, for weight, I would say if you feel like you need to lose weight,
Mm-hmm.
then talk to someone first about
Mm-hmm.
it. If it's a friend, a parent, a teacher, or someone you trust, just talk to someone about it first.
Mm-hmm.
And even if you know you want to, but you are having trouble, then try to find ways to love yourself that way.
Right. Okay. Now, does your school serve healthy lunches and breakfast for the students?
Yes,
They do.
they they serve well. They have, for virtual academy,
Mm-hmm.
they have served um, they serve pre-packaged lunch,
Mm-hmm.
which has apples. They can have um, they can have carrots, sandwiches. They also have
So they have some healthy options, basically,
yeah.
for the youth. So options. Okay, so with the youth that I know you mentioned your friend who was not overweight in your opinion and was trying to lose weight. Do you find that a lot of your friends or students who are already thin think that they're fat and they're trying to lose weight because they think because society says they need to be a size 0 or a size 2? Do you,
Yeah, I have had friends who do who who had think who was thinking like that before.
and where do you think those images come from? Why do you think they think that they were overweight?
They come from bullies mostly
Hmm.
saying, "Oh, look, you're fat,"
Hmm.
and then they're like, "Oh, but I've worked so hard not to be. I've starved myself. I ate only salads. I made sure that I was eating the healthiest things, maybe not even eating at all."
Wow. How young were you when you started doing this?
Um, for what exactly?
Well, you're saying as far as eating only the healthiest things and
Yeah, just
start,
Um,
starting to be conscious of what you're
yeah.
eating.
this was
I would say I started to notice it about the fourth grade. That's when we really
Wow.
started to see it for her. Now I don't know if it was happening earlier,
Right.
but just because of the neighborhood that we lived in, there
Right.
were a lot of kids whose parents were well off.
Right.
And when there's a trend, you
Right.
know, people
Right.
jump on the bandwagon of the trend, and it became a thing to eat healthy and
Yeah.
run
Right.
errands and workout clothes, and
Right.
the kids going to school with certain things in their lunches, and it's now become a thing where she's like, okay, well, I need to have certain things to keep up with them. So it
Wow.
was come it would like fluctuate, because some things she'd be like, oh, well, I need to pack lunch and it has to be this. Can you buy this? Can you buy that? And sometimes we'll pack her lunch, and then she will still like have something at school because she wants to go to the cafeteria with the other kids.
Got
So it's kind of like neither one of what we did was good enough for what was happening at that school, because it was keeping up with whatever trend that they had set up, whatever the standard was that they had
right.
set up with their age group, their peer group, and what
Right.
was happening. That's what she followed that day, you
Okay.
know, and we had to unfortunately have to have a safety buddy for
Right.
her, to make sure that there was no throwing up in the bathrooms.
Right.
So that became a lot of pressure, and she had really, really great teachers and counselors that tried to help her through that particular period. But it did get a little rough. There was a lot of image things that I started to notice that was happening in elementary. It happened very, very young. These kids were very conscious about how they looked.
Right. And Leielle, you got that from your peers. So you wanted to just say thin because everybody else was thin, or eating healthy because everyone else was healthy, in your opinion?
um at well, it's kind of the opposite
Okay.
because they said I was too skinny.
Okay. So you were trying
So
to,
I was trying to gain weight instead of lose weight.
okay. So when your mom says that you were trying to eat healthy and then you said sometimes you weren't eating, what made you not eat if you felt you were thin already?
Um, some days it was just I just couldn't eat.
Hmm.
It wasn't because my stomach was hurting. It was just I just couldn't do it. I
Hmm.
just couldn't eat.
You couldn't eat. Was it you
I
just
just
wasn't hungry?
Right. Or was it you felt like stressed or anxiety?
Yeah.
it. I think it was stress because I mean I did eat, but sometimes at school I didn't eat anything.
Mm-hmm.
I'll eat like after school, but sometimes I'll just not eat anything.
Okay. So you feel like anxiety and all that is the reason why you weren't eating?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And was that coming from peer pressure, your friends and people that's around you that was causing the anxiety?
Yeah, I
Okay.
have one friend who would constantly bully me
Mm-hmm.
because of how skinny I was.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't say anything to anyone
Mm-hmm.
because, well, I just tried to brush it off,
Mm-hmm.
but it didn't work how I wanted it to. I think it just made me really sad
Mm-hmm.
and stressed.
So how did you get through that period of time? So once your mom, she figured out, got your buddy to make sure that you're eating. So how did you guys tackle that particular time in your life? How did you get over it?
Um, well, I did talk with my friends who talking with my friends it did help, and um I also used some of my um friends' parents who were like family
Good.
to
Okay.
talk to.
And there was also an on-site counselor as well. So we did do external help, for
Yeah, yeah,
for
yeah.
people who need that. I know, among certain group, talking to an external therapist or counselor
Right.
may not be as popular, but we did, reach out to those sources too, because we wanted to make sure that as parents, we were doing our due diligence,
Right.
you know.
And so what did you find out, Keiwanna? So you noticed this with your daughter, you noticed that she wasn't eating and you saw some stuff was going on. So what was the first thing you did, you and your husband?
So we just initially we started kind of like monitoring. So it was like, okay, in the morning, I need to see that you're eating. I need to,
Right.
X, Y, and Z that this was going on. So it was like, I think it was she started to like rebel a little bit. I think that's why the period of bulimia started happening,
Okay.
because the more we monitor her meals and made her eat,
The more
the
she
way she
didn't
was
want to do it.
supposed to,
Mhm.
the more it was kind of like, okay, she was throwing up at school, she would be throwing up in the bathroom, she would be saying her stomach was hurting.
Right.
So the symptoms and the behavior started to kind of like become extreme, that
Right.
I think that she was just kind of like, okay, like, yeah, she wanted to gain weight, but it was kind of like, okay, well, the food is my control. So, you're telling me eat, I don't really want to eat. So I'm going to try to do my own thing on this. And so
Right.
that's why we, kind of reached out for help. Like, hey, we're not at school.
Right.
So now we need extra eyes. And okay, well, have somebody who's not us for her to talk to and for her to get help,
Right.
um, to make sure that again we're not missing anything, and we're not saying like, hey, we got it covered, we're her parents, we don't need no one else's input. So we didn't want to take that route either, because
Right.
this is a serious situation. And to put it in perspective,
Mm-hmm.
these girls that she's hanging out with were just as skinny or smaller than she was.
Oh,
So
wow.
these were tiny kids. Like, there were, I mean, overweight. There weren't many like what we would consider overweight kids. There weren't a
Right.
lot of those kids at her school. Some of them were her size or smaller. Like they were kind of. Now she was maybe like one of the shortest of the kids. There was like maybe like two or three of her friends that were around her height, but they were all
Mhm.
pretty much her size. So so it's interesting for there to be bullying when, they're
Right.
in her weight class, so to speak. Yeah.
Now, how tall was she at that time, if you can recall, and what was her weight? And what is she now?
So she was about four, maybe like 4'8" or
And-
something. Going to four, yeah. I think she's about going on 4'11" now, like
Oh,
4'10",
wow.
4'11".
Oh, yeah, you are tiny. You sure?
And I say that because
Yeah.
I'm 5 foot and she's still shorter than me. So, so I get it on the short range, on the thing. But yeah, so
Mhm.
yeah. So she's tiny, she's short, plus, real small.
Mhm.
I mean, I'm still not sure she's even made 100 pounds, but she's real tiny. She was all of like 60 pounds back then. So she was,
Gotcha.
4
Gotcha.
feet tall, 60 pounds, so she
Right.
was thin, nowhere near overweight,
Wait.
and so she's just still now coming in. And I think that was a thing too. Some of her friends started to develop and
Right.
start to fill out. And as a young woman, you really start to feel self-conscious, like, oh, I'm thin. I'm not
Right.
filling out, the way I should.
Right.
Yeah,
Okay.
which wasn't a thing for me. I was developing in 3rd grade, so
Right.
it was a very different situation,
Right. Right. I got you.
Yeah.
So, Leielle, when you look in the mirror, what do you see? Do you see a healthy young lady in the mirror when you look at her? Look at yourself?
It depends on how I wake up feeling.
Okay.
So, as an example, let's say I woke up and I was feeling really angry for no reason.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm brushing my teeth and doing my hair. It would just be really, it's just be a lot of anger towards things, people, myself, for not really a reason, but it would just feel like that.
So it's just a lot of anger. So when you look in the mirror, you're not happy with what you see on those days.
Not most of the time.
So are there any exercises that you do when you're like that or in that space? Do you just look in the mirror and say, you know what, I'm beautiful? Sometimes people have the little cards on their mirror or just some affirmations. Because that you're beautiful. I mean, I know you know that. You're such a beautiful girl. So it's just a matter, you say it, and because we used to have a thing when I was in sales, you keep saying it, you fake it till you make it. So no matter if you feel it or not, you keep saying it, and eventually you're gonna believe it. So you just get in the mirror every day, and you just keep giving yourself those positive affirmations.
So we actually started to do that, and that was an interesting exercise into her mind frame as well.
Okay.
Because we were doing this program which was called Extraordinary Teens, and part of it is that you do daily affirmations, and you're supposed to say, I'm wonderful, I'm beautiful, I'm brilliant. And so I was having her repeat those things and telling her that she should do that in the morning, when she wakes up to start off her day.
Yeah.
And it was interesting because her response to me was, it's so uncomfortable. Like, I'm not used to saying those things to myself. Like, it's hard for me to say that. And it's just mind boggling that is a thing that's happening in her mind.
Mm-hmm.
That, hey, she's really feeling like I'm not that person. I can't say that to myself. I don't feel it. I don't believe it, and this is a real struggle for me. So just knowing, like, hey, you think that this isn't a perception, but it is, it's like just being able to say, you know what, I'm smart, I'm beautiful, and that those are hard words to say to yourself, to say out loud, and then to actually believe it.
That's it. It's the believing part. What's so interesting is that and a lot of this is the society and the world that we live in today, where you say that you're a beautiful, you're considered arrogant or conceited, whereas there's a difference between arrogance and confidence. And unfortunately, with a lot of our young people wanting to fit in and just the peer pressure, which is why I'm so proud of you, Leielle, that you recognize it now, because I have some kids that don't recognize it, and getting help now that was going to help you throughout your life. But every day, those affirmations and believing it. It's an interesting how, and I can say this because this is our Christian format, how the enemy will have us believing the negative stuff, and we believe it, but we won't believe the positive stuff about ourselves. If someone says that we're dumb and fat and stupid, we believe that stuff. But when they're saying we're beautiful and smart and, educated, we just don't. But it's the environment a lot of times in the world, I should say, we live in today. But I'm glad that you recognize it, Leielle. That is huge that you're able to do the affirmations, and then you will believe it. When you keep saying it every single day, eventually it's just going to roll off your tongue. It's going to roll off your tongue. So have you surrounded yourself with positive kids that are well, have you surrounded yourself with friends who are positive and like-minded as yourself to help, to go along this journey we call life?
Yes, I right now I have three main friends
Okay.
that I have two that's been with me for a while. One I met when I was 2, and one I met when I was a baby.
Okay.
So me and my two friends, those two, we've been together for a while.
Okay.
So I can just normally talk to them about anything. So it feels a lot better to just talk to them about anything that I want to.
Okay.
Without being judged or feel like I'm going to be judged.
Gotcha.
And my third friend, I can feel the same way, even though she's one of my not really recent, but recent enough.
Okay. Friends. Okay. Well, let me play another video. This is dealing with bullying. So let me see. I'll pull this up to help us. You kind of give me your opinion on it. Your opinion on this.
Bullying can have short and long-term effects. The bullying can have short and long-term effects. The short-term effects being obviously making kids scared to be at school or to feel like friendships can be unsafe. Maybe they don't want to go to school. It could maybe affect them academically. So we've certainly seen kids who have demonstrated school refusal behavior because they have experienced bullying. And then sometimes it leads to even relationship issues with adults in the short term because they feel like the adults in their life are not protecting them. That is certainly a problem for kids not to feel like their adults are effective in helping them through a real problem. The other interesting effect that bullying has in the short and the long term is it actually can lead to bullying behavior by the child who's bullied. And those kids are the ones with the worst long-term outcomes. So kids who are bullied and go on to bully have the worst outcomes because they tend to be more depressed than kids who are bullied and don't go on to bully. They have higher rates of suicidal ideation as well. So we particularly worry about that group of kids. And just as you can imagine, in the long term, it could affect people's willingness to explore different types of relationships socially.
Okay. So how do you feel about that? Do you know of any bullies that then go on to bully other people?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. It was this one friend.
Mm-hmm.
They got bullied because of how they looked.
Mm-hmm.
But then in a year they had like a
Okay.
they had like a massive change in the way they looked.
Massive change how? Did they gain weight, lose weight, change their hair?
They grew up. They look like they grew up a lot,
Okay.
even though they were, let's say, 9. They look like they could be 14.
Oh, wow.
So they started bullying other people
Okay.
about the same reason, about how they looked.
Mm.
And then after that, I went to go tell the teacher.
Mm-hmm.
The teacher told the principal,
Mm-hmm.
and
Good.
after that,
Mm-hmm.
she apologized to everyone
Wow.
and told everyone why she was bullying them.
Why did she bully him? What was her reason?
She was bullying them because she said that she felt like it was the thing that she had to do because she was told to.
Who told her to do it?
She said her dad told her to bully other people because they bullied her.
Oh. Okay.
So she ended up telling the whole school at the assembly why,
Wow.
and apologizing to everyone. And she ended up with the same friend she had before,
Okay.
but made a few more afterwards.
Yeah. That was good. How old was this young lady?
She was she was 9.
9. Okay. That's a very mature thing to do, for her to even, acknowledge and apologize. Okay. How is she doing today?
I haven't talked to her in a while,
Okay.
but from the last time I did, she's doing good.
Okay.
She actually got a growing movie.
Oh, okay.
So,
That's good. That's good. It's like a payoff for just doing the mature thing as a 9-year-old. I mean, that's pretty big for her to apologize for what she's done,
Yeah.
for bullying. Okay. So is there anything else that you want to talk about, that you want people to know about the strain that bullying has on mental health, or the obesity, eating or not eating? Anything that you want to share?
yes, actually.
Okay.
So there's a hotline called
Okay.
Teen Line, and you can talk to anybody on there. You
Okay.
can email, text, or call.
Okay.
They You can say what you're having a problem with, and then they'll contact you
Okay.
within um within about 2 days
Okay.
with something that can help, and they'll talk to you about how to fix it.
Wow.
And
Okay.
if that doesn't work, then they'll give you more hotlines, links, and videos that you could use to also help with that.
Wow. Okay. Is this the teenline.org?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So we got that up on the screen. Teenline.org if you have any questions. And then there's also bullying. So here's a number, 1-800-273-8255. It's an anti-bullying hotline that people can call, and we can pass this number out so we can stop, because the biggest thing to stop bullying, and some of the effects, as we know, with bullying, is that the depression, and being, the depression is the biggest thing, just from being bullied by so-called friends. So, okay, well, we're going to put these numbers up. Anything else you want to add, Mom?
Yeah, I am impressed the fact that the school systems are trying to get different health options because we
Yeah.
went vegan, and so they're starting to get
Oh,
vegan menus into the school.
wow.
So I was very impressed with that
Right,
because I
right,
was like, that's very progressive. It's with private schools, it's kind of
right,
like they have that because you're paying into it, but now with
right.
the public schools starting to offer it as well. So
That's
I
great.
was very impressed with them trying to integrate those different food options for the children, especially one of her major things. And, she hates it, but, she has a lactose problem. And
We
she
we
loves her
me
ice
too.
cream and her cheese feeds and everything. So she hated when we went vegan. My husband's main thing was he wanted her to be healthy. So,
Mhm.
it was like the whole family change their diet. But yeah, so it was some pushback on that because she wanted to still have all the usual things. And even though she likes some of the vegan choices, it's still like, but I feel like I'm missing that thing. Like, it's something that's just not the same.
Right. Like they do have vegan cheese, but it's not quite the same as the regular.
Yeah. So even though she likes it, it's just still like, okay, but I still wanted that thing, because that's
Yeah.
what I was eating before.
Right, right,
Yeah.
right, right. Okay. Well, oh my gosh, this has been amazing. I'm so glad that you guys have joined us today. Any last comments, Leo, that you want to leave with friends? Anything I may have missed that you wanted to share? Outside, we got the bullying number, we got the hotline, and I'll keep alternating here for people to jot this number down: 800-273-8255, and of course the teenline.org for any type of teen bullying issues that you guys want to try to tackle. So anything else you want to add?
There's also another thing in bullying.
Okay.
Some people bully uh, LGBTQ people,
Oh, yeah, I kind of, yeah, the
and
transgender. Okay, so does the school have a policy set up to help
yes,
the
uh,
community?
yes. So, well, I am part of LGBTQ, so I had a friend who was being bullied because of
Okay,
it,
okay,
and so my school, we watched a video on mental health, and they
okay.
gave us a link
Hmm.
to the Trevor Project,
Oh, okay,
and it's for all LGBTQ people.
okay.
So you can make friends, talk. It's just a good. It's kind of like it's like a chat room.
Okay.
There's different topics. Chat.
Yeah. So it's the Trevor space.
Trevor.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what's called the Trevor. Yeah.
Okay.
That
Okay.
her teacher actually extended that out during the sessions for the kids. So yeah, so
Okay.
anyone who's struggling in that area as
Okay.
well, on top of everything else. So
Yes.
these kids are dealing with a
A
a
lot.
lot.
Oh
Yeah,
my, it is
image, mental health, self-image,
right.
sexuality,
Right.
all the things
Right.
of the shoulds, the shouldn'ts, and
Right.
the titles, the labeling. So
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
there's a
Yeah.
lot of things. And I can even share with you, I got a resource for like a mindful eating type meditation for
Okay.
children. So
Okay.
I can share that with you as well if you
Yeah.
want to. Yeah. I'll post that for your audience. So
Yeah. Absolutely. Wow.
mhm.
Yeah. I mean, you're such a brave girl. I'm so proud of you, Leielle, from coming forward. And we really do want to understand, because I know myself have just not quite understood the extent of what you guys go through. I've never known anybody that committed suicide when I was in school. And understanding the pressure that our young people are under because of social media. And that's one thing before we click out. How important is social media in your peer group? Like, is that something you guys concerned about
It's
the likes and the how many followers you have?
it's like a lifeline. If you don't post at a certain time, it's over.
What? Wow. When you say it's over, what do you mean? Like,
It's you get bullied, you get
what?
you get taunted.
If you don't post?
If you don't post, they'll like start questioning you.
Yes. It's a real thing. If these kids aren't on, like, they will literally shun them. If they didn't post at 3 o'clock when everybody else was chatting and you weren't a part of that chat, you can't get in. You're pretty much like blackballed for that day, and you try again tomorrow, and maybe you could be a part of the group and part of the talk. But if you weren't in there on that and they're talking about yesterday, that FOMO, that fear of missing out, is real with these kids.
Gosh. Oh my gosh. No, yeah. Okay. So what would be your advice to kids who are struggling in that area?
Try to find a balance between your social media and life.
Right.
Because social media is not life. It's just a thing. So I learned that in multiple situations. But it's just, you have to learn a balance between both of them. So then you don't overuse it.
Right. Oh, child. Oh, you guys do go through a whole lot. My heart goes out to you. It really does. But you're a brave young lady. I'm glad that you joined us to kick off our this whole month. We're going to just tackle childhood obesity, and you've explained obviously how the mental health aspect can play, and also bullying. And we really want to bring light to it, and to stomp it out. So thank you so much for joining me. I'm so glad you and your mom joined me for this candid conversation. And I'm hoping, guys, that somebody out there can be helped by our roundtable today. Again, like, subscribe, and share. Share this video on your page for other people to kind of see what, because I've been educated. I didn't know all of this stuff was going on in the school system, and I was a youth teacher. Not realizing how important social media is and what it's doing to our youth. So I think that Leielle shed an amazing light on what's going on in the school system and how we can play a part in helping our youth. So, okay. So once again, I'm going to like, subscribe, and share to our channel. Stop Bullying Now at 1-800-273-8255. And of course, at teenline.org for any of your bullying or needs dealing with our teens. Well, thank you so much, Keiwanna. I'm really, thank you so much for shedding the light and being bold enough to come on and talk about it. You did amazing. You did really, really well.
Yeah.
You did really, really well. Thank you.
It's not easy to be that honest and vulnerable. So
yes. Oh my gosh. Yes.
Even for adults. So
that's what I was gonna say. We weren't talking. So you really have shed an amazing light that we can look at and come up with stuff to do to try to help the best we can. So, okay. So I don't think we have any questions let me just double check. I don't think we have any questions. Just Yolanda Johnson says, hello, Ms. Johnson. And for everybody else that's out there, again, like, subscribe, and share. And if you have any questions that you want to ask, for those of you who are going to watch this on replay, you can definitely just put your questions in the chat box, and then we'll find your question, or you can email me at Zondra Wilson@yahoo.com, and I will try my best to get back to you ASAP to answer any of your questions. Okay, so I thank you so much. Okay, guys, you have a really good night. Okay, bye-bye.
Bye.